optic disc assessment and not cup disc ratio alone. So always do careful exam and keep an open mind. Evaluation of ONH and RNFL needs a systematic approach because this improves detection of glaucoma. ONH signs have high sensitivity and specificity for diagnosis of glaucoma. Clinical evaluation can be done by direct ophthalmoscopy, but it has limited advantage. It lacks stereopsis. This can be done, stereoscopic examination can be done by slit lamp and non-contact lenses of 78 or 90D. Goldmann, Zeiss 4-mirror lenses are also available, and you need to do a detailed drawing. Documentation can be done with the help of color and red-free photographs. Stereo photographs are preferable, and serial photographs are required for early identification of progression. So everyone should know how a normal optic nerve looks like. It follows the ISNT rules, and horizontal cup is much more than the vertical cup. How to identify a cup margin? Obviously, see the scleral ring, watch the blood vessels over how they come over the optic nerve, and see the inner cup margins. So area between is the neuroretinal rim. So here also inner cup margin and the outer NRR. Now see the circumlinear vessels, they are either superiorly or inferiorly. Inferior is more common, and normally they rest on the inner margin of NRR. So they help us in identifying the inner cup margin. There are various signs of glaucoma. We will see them. So most important is the disc size, because the cup is dependent on this. Large cups are there in large discs. So this is very, very important. So small discs, you can identify with this technique. So see how the small optic nerve and the distance between the fovea centralis. So here it is almost 2.5. This is a small disc. A moderate disc, you can see the distance is just 2 disc diameters, and the large disc, it is just 1 and 1.5 disc diameters. So you can identify grossly whether the discs are small or large. High CD also, do not label each and every patient as having glaucoma. You need to investigate these patients because there can be physiological. Myopia obviously gives us right. We don't know whether it is glaucoma, but you need to document, and because this is a diagnostic glaucoma, and investigate accordingly. Tilted myopic disc, the thin NRR can be seen temporarily, but this is because of the oblique insertion, and here also you need to document them. Don't forget tilted disc syndrome, because this is not glaucoma. This is a typical entity, and which is seen bilaterally as an oblique disc insertion. Symmetry is definitely a sign of glaucoma, and you need to investigate, because this is symmetry is seen in almost 98% of patients, and 0.2% of significance. If it is there, it should not be ignored. If there is vertical enlargement of the cup, vertical enlargement in an oval disc can be normal, but vertical enlargement and thin NRR, always see red field photographs. If you see RNFL defects bitemporally like here, definitely it is glaucoma. So pallar cup discrepancy is a pathognomonic sign, because the cup would be definitely much more than the pallar here, and it would be accompanied by an RNFL defect. So cupping, if more than pallar, is definitely a glaucoma, but pallar, if it is much more, and if it is on NRR, it is definitely not glaucoma. So again, rim pallar in glaucoma is very, very rare, and you have to look for other findings. Like in this patient, you can see there was pallar of on NRR temporally in both the eyes, and even if the ONH and OCT findings were showing glaucomatous-like defects, but we wanted to investigate because it is not a glaucoma. And you can see that there were chronic microvascular ischemic changes and other changes of cerebral atrophy. Multiple changes were there. So any pallar is not glaucoma. Like in this patient, there is a cherry red spot with multiple emboli. This is a CRAO, and next is a tributary retinal arterial occlusion. Patients of retinitis pigmentosa and glaucoma need to, especially in cine pigmento, if you see a pale disc, you need to see whether it is glaucoma. The visual field defect and the pallar would be totally disproportionate. Concentric atrophy is a sign of glaucoma, because the neuronal loss is there in all the sectors. Laminar dot sign is because of the progressive loss of tissue and visibility of the lamina cribrosa. Advanced cupping is seen when there is total loss of neuronal tissue. So coming to vascular signs, there can be splinter or trans hemorrhage. This is a significant finding and can be a first sign of glaucomatous damage, more common in NTG and large IOP fluctuation. It precedes RNFL defect, notching, and even visual field defect. Disappears over some time, but this indicates that there is a need for more aggressive therapy. Bayonetting is sign where the vessels suddenly change the direction when they come over the cup margin, and this is because of the loss of neuronal tissue in that particular sector. So bearing of circumlunar vessel is again because of the loss of neuronal tissue, and overpass cupping is the vessels initially bridge over the cup and suddenly appear to collapse in the cup. This is also because of the loss of axons over there. So if it is disc hemorrhage, can be NVD. If it is dip cups, can be totally physiologic, normal, and because of that, it can be an apparent bayonetting. And circumlunar vessel, this is normal on top, and the down is glaucoma. So coming to peripapillary changes, which are RNFL defects. Yeah, I'll just finish off. So these are slit defects. The slit defects again are suspicious, and this is a wedge defect, and this is a diffuse loss of RNFL. Whether it is a normal ONH or not, you can see the RNFL. So definitely NRR may not be an indicator, and you have to see the RNFL. Peripapillary atrophy is also important, and beta atrophy can be seen in myopia and patients of moderate and advanced glaucoma. This PPA is definitely normal, but you need to document it. Always watch for progression, especially if there is a disc hemorrhage, because it can develop into RNFL. Watch for progression of new development of defect, like in the right eye, there was a new development of RNFL defect, and left eye, there was a wedge defect. So these are anomalous discs, and we need to document and cannot definitely distinguish whether between glaucoma. So just summarizing all the signs: focal atrophy, bearing, laminar dot sign, bayonetting of vessel, thin NRR, pellar curve discrepancy, RNFL thinning, and definitely don't forget the documentation. So comorbidities, always remember, this is the glaucoma with diabetic maculopathy NPDR, and this is ARMD where with the visual fields were abnormal and not showing proper this thing. Do not ignore large curves. Always document, because large curves may harbor a neurological problem, and you need to document and save the patient from other life-threatening problems. So evaluation of disc, this is last slide. Note the disc size. The NRR is important and not CD. Check for pallar cup discrepancy. Find and observe vascular signs. Evaluate RNFL defects. Note the signs of progression. Keep a high level of suspicion when the findings are atypical. And remember that a patient may have more than one disease. Always keep in mind that everything that looks like glaucoma may not be glaucoma. Thank you.